A few people were let go from our company today.
Oh, no.
Yeah, don't say names.
So, Nelson was let go.
Nelson
no,
Rosa?
no.
Jesse really deserved it.
Well, I mean,
He was asking for it.
You know, within a company, it's you gotta let go of.
Is it redundancy?
Not redundancy, more like lack of
The
talent.
lower
lack of
10%.
talent. Okay, so an
lower
actual real reason.
which would be lack of talent.
Yeah. Okay, check this out. You know what you just reminded me of? At JP, so Wall Street's a crazy fucking place. People do crazy stuff.
I've never been.
I blame the cocaine.
I do blame the cocaine too. Let me explain to you. People often shit when they're on cocaine.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
People often shit when they're on cocaine.
Oh.
Tracy, do you agree with this?
I've heard that as such. Yes.
Okay. This dude. So we do rounds of cuts all the time on Wall Street. It's like the major leagues. Like bottom 30% get cut all the time.
They go to the AAA or something.
Where do they go? Yeah.
They cut up the lines or they cut up the employees.
Both.
Yeah.
At the same time on the same day.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
So they cut some employees, and one dude who was actually a kick-ass trader was so pissed and felt it was so unfair that he got cut, which I actually agree with him. That he went into the bathroom, locked the door on the trading floor, took a shit at the spot where like you take your first step into the bathroom, opens the door, leaves, grabs the box that he just packed, walked out, and it was left to the janitorial staff to deal with that.
Well, that sucks for the janitorial
I was gonna say,
staff. They
is there a
didn't
way
do
they could have done
anything
it
wrong to him?
Right? Is there a way he could have done it in said boss's office?
That would have required some big ass kahunas, which he didn't manage very well.
Oh yeah.
That's a classic attitude problem. That's what that is.
I have a lot of opinions about it.
Oh, really? What's your most interesting one?
Well, the first one is be a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't do that. That would be
That's it?
my second. Yeah.
If you were unfairly let go, you wouldn't take a shit on the bathroom floor?
I mean, I would do it.
No.
I would consider it.
As Amer pointed out, I mean, that's leaving it to some undeserving janitor.
That is true.
It's
Absolutely.
terrible.
I don't like that part.
I don't
However,
like that either.
I'd come up with another way to
Get them
him
back?
Yeah. I don't know. Just figure something out.
You know how
In
you get
relation
them
to the
back?
boss.
You
What?
get them back by succeeding even more at your next endeavor.
On that note, welcome to Business News and Other Shit. I am your host, Amer, and I'm here with Brian Reed, Tracy Colby, M.R. Duclo. Did I pronounce your name right?
You did.
And DB. No, that's not douchebag. It's Dan Baker.
Sir Baker.
Sir Dan Baker.
Sir Dan Baker. Do you know Prince Andrew, who's the second son of Queen Elizabeth, I think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's my brother.
Not
Yeah,
personally.
right. So this dude is boys with Jeff Epstein.
He's boys?
Ugh.
Yeah, they're boys.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
So you mean friends?
They
Yeah,
are?
they're tight
Okay.
in more ways than one. Yeah. We'll get to that later. That's a little foreshadowing.
Oh, that's juicy.
This
Don't hang
is,
yourself over it.
For podcast listeners, we are, we'll just do a plug. We're in the Comedy Clubhouse.
What?
What's up? And this is my improv team, y'all.
Hey!
Lower your volume.
Hot dog.
10 seconds ago.
Hot dogs. Hot dogs.
Yeah. We are Clark Snarks.
What's
and
up,
to get us
y'all?
started today, we'll need, never mind.
Suggestion.
Suggestion from anything at all from the podcast listeners.
All right, let's wait.
Turd.
Currency.
Murder.
I heard
Epstein.
currency. So yeah, we're gonna have a show with the improv team. This is long overdue. This is season 2, season premiere, episode 1, y'all.
Oh my
gosh.
Really? That's exciting.
That explains the
that is
new intro
exciting.
song that you have at the top.
There you go.
I like that.
Really high production value.
Thank you very much. Thanks to your voiceover. But yeah, see, this is the production's 51st episode. I'm arrogant. I think like I run and I do this whole thing myself. There's a lot of people in India that make this happen.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
How do they assist?
They edit video and snap audio to video and do all sorts of
All the
other
dirty work.
That's pretty
clips
cool.
and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, that's because of the producer, Chris Broadhead, who is a very smart, shrewd businessman who knows how to find people around the world to do good work for us.
Oh, you're
Wondering.
putting, you're helping put food in other people's mouths. Is what
Bam.
you guys are doing.
Bam.
My friend in IT does the same exact thing. He's got a one-man IT
Food truck?
web development company, but he's got a couple go-to guys and then a lot more people. He probably doesn't even interact with, but they're all overseas.
Have you guys
I'm
lost
angry.
luggage before?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
multiple
it
times.
Sucks.
Sucks because you're wearing the same underwear
I
for
wore
days.
the same outfit once 3 days in a row.
Yeah, I'm flipping underwear
It's
inside
so
out,
weird.
socks inside out. Shit gets nasty.
Yeah, that was college.
That was college for
You had
you.
one outfit
You did-
throughout college, right?
What?
You had one outfit throughout college?
No, I had
One underpant.
multiple pairs of old underwear that I didn't wash. And then during
Where'd you go to
finals,
college?
it was called Manchester University in Indiana.
Sounds like it's in England. For some
British.
reason.
Yes. Welcome to Manchester,
Prince
everybody.
Andrew, I heard Prince Andrew went there with Jeff
Except
Epstein.
for when the whitey whites come by and they're like, "You liberal assholes."
Oh.
Our Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors.
Oh,
Oh, I wish we had a
32.
Baskin Robbins.
I thought you were a Cuse man. I thought you were
Oh
Syracuse.
no, okay. Yes, I went to graduate school at Syracuse,
Okay.
in which, yes,
Did you wash your underwear there?
and also
Interesting.
Syracuse. This is off topic, but Boeheim's Army is playing tonight in the throwback tournament, which is all Syracuse alumni, and it's a $2 million
What sport are we talking?
purse. It's basketball.
Okay.
And so $2 million purse for alumni who made the NBA or out of the NBA or whatever. All I'm saying is watch it. It's amazing. And the winning team gets $2 million.
Wow.
Oh.
How do I
In the
enter?
form
gonna lie.
of a purse.
I'm not gonna
Shake
lie.
the play.
I'm not
In the
gonna
form
lie.
of
So-
a purse.
I'm not.
Do you have
And
to
there
be
are $2
professional?
million purses out
I'm
there.
not gonna lie. There
They're
are.
arguably professional.
Okay, so I can't.
I'm not gonna lie.
No,
I'm
yeah,
not-
you can date them.
No,
can
join such
She's a
competition.
taken woman, dude. Damn. Galen would not like that.
What was that?
Well, I mean, if you're going to have one of these TBT basketball players. well,
Throwback Thursdays.
Yeah, no, the throwback tournament.
Oh.
But if they walked up to you and be like, "Hey, Mary Rose, what you up to?"
I think Galen would come with his
I'd be
barrel
like-
chest and be like,
No, thank you.
"My woman is my woman. Stand back, TBT basketball player. I don't care if you're 6'10" Dikembe Mutombo."
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know if he'd do that. I think I would just be like
Oh,
You blow
that's
him a
it.
raspberry?
the basketball player.
Oh, okay.
But I'll say, I'm about to win $2 million. What do you think now, Mary Rose?
Oh.
Shit just got real.
Yeah, shit
No,
just got real.
I would just want to play.
Basketball?
Yeah.
Well, you're not in it.
That's-
You're not in the tournament.
I'm gonna
Right.
end this conversation.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, you know what? We
Q's.
guys, we have a show. So this comes out Monday. We have a show. It's Friday night. If somehow you have a time machine, you should come to our show.
8 p.m., 1462 North Ashland.
July 26th
It's the
tonight.
purple
Set
building.
your time machine for.
Oh wait, I need to do a plug for myself. I have 2 shows coming up. I have a Thursday stand-up show at Chicago Joe's this Thursday, 8 p.m. Free show, guys. It's at Western Avenue and Irving Park. Would love for anyone to come. Anyone who's listening. Do you guys have any? So that's Thursday, August 1st, and then the following week I have a show on Thursday, August 8th here at the Comedy Clubhouse, 10 p.m. An evening with Nick and Mike is what it's called. They're doing some stuff. So Thursday, August 1st, Thursday, August 8th, 8 p.m. on Thursday, August 1st. Please come. 10 p.m. Thursday, August 8th. Please come. You guys have any plugs, by the way?
No.
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 Not this
No, I literally like just ended my 2-month window of plugging.
Right. That's
So,
right. That's
Great
right.
timing.
Again, time machine.
If anybody,
Yeah, time machine. Yeah.
if anybody in the podcast world wants to watch my 2-year-old, then I have a plug.
The funniest part about you guys talking into the same mic is like I see this dance happening.
Yep.
So for listeners, Dan and Brian, the 2 other men on the podcast, are sharing a mic, and the way it goes is basically like they're blowing each other kisses at all times.
I feel like
It does look
when
like
we
that.
lean in together, like we have to hit the same note. Like we're like in
I
the
thought you were gonna say-
chandeliers together.
Yes.
You wanna do it?
Something.
It almost looks like you're hitting each other's noses.
Do you want
tips.
to do like a C note right now?
I can take a guess. But we need to bob into it. Like
Okay, well, you know what? Let's get to the agenda.
Yeah, because why? Hey, buddy, what's up?
Buddy
we just had a
just
dog.
joined
dog
us.
walked in.
Literally, buddy.
I did not
the
The
dog.
dog just walked in. Cool.
I did not
name's
divert
Buddy.
eye
Now,
Now,
contact
here's the
from
thing.
dog.
So, listeners, we have a show after this, so we got to
Hi.
hustle and get through this episode. So, let's jump right into it. Here's the agenda. We're gonna talk about T-Mobile and Sprint. They're getting merged. They're having a merger.
Wait, that's happening?
That is
finally
happening.
got approved.
They finally got approved. L Brands. You guys ever heard of L Brands?
No.
No.
Limited,
about to.
Express, Abercrombie, Bath and
Oh,
Body Works,
yes.
Oh,
Pink,
yes.
course.
Oh.
and the crown jewel, Victoria's secret.
This is all Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Yes. The owner of L Brands is Brutus, the Buckeye.
Wait, what?
Bad
You
joke.
slipping that in?
Very bad joke.
That's
Just cheese.
not
Just pure,
Brutus.
pure
That's
cheese.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get to Brian has a question or two.
Yes.
And then
do.
then we're going to talk about how to make cheddar. If anybody has ideas on how to tell our listeners how to make some cash,
Hells yeah.
do tell. All right, so let's jump into it. T-Mobile Sprint, $26 billion merger. Not the biggest merger in the world, but it's a big merger. T-Mobile will be buying Sprint, all right? And so instead of it being the four big ones, which are AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, it's now going to be three big ones, right?
Yeah.
What's funny about this, by the way, I saw the numbers. It'll be so after the merger, AT&T will have 150 million subscribers, Verizon 118 million. That's 268. And T-Mobile Sprint combined will have 100 million. That's 368. There's 325 million Americans. How are there 368 million accounts?
people have two phones.
People
Who's-
die.
Those who are cheating on their
People
husbands or
die
wives.
and they get everything, right? All right? Hear me out. Everything's auto pulled from accounts, right? And then people even get stuff auto deposited into their accounts, like your pension, your retirement
It just
checks.
keeps happening?
So no, this happens a lot. Like you'll hear like it'll be like so and so was found dead in their house recently. We can look this up. Trust me.
Come on. Once a death certificate-
years later, because she had no loved ones, but everything was like automated.
Who is this she you're talking about?
Everything was automated in and Doris Johnson from
Galena, Illinois?
Manchester, Indiana.
Yeah.
And everything was automatic in,
I think it's
automatic
more
out.
that- I think it's-
Manchester, Indiana.
I think it's the multiple accounts thing, with whether it's with a business or like you're cheating on your husband or wife and you need a second phone, that like your fun phone.
Or maybe it's
So I have a question.
Do.
So there are literally more phone accounts out there than there are human beings
In
in
America.
the U.S.
In America, yeah.
So what are infants having?
That's the question. I don't know.
Hey, point of order.
if you think that's scary, then we can just look up how many guns there are versus how many human beings there are in America.
Sure.
But you can't
But I
dial a gun.
digress.
You can't dial a gun.
The point of order that I have right now is there are 285 million Americans in the U.S. Is that right?
Well, I think he said
No,
we're up to 327.
Too low.
Is that what you said?
Yeah,
327? And then what was the?
360.
368.
Okay, that makes sense. So, but here's okay. So I once interviewed for the Sprint account. I'm in advertising, and in advertising, I was going to work on
In-house Sprint?
not in-house
They
Sprint.
would be a client.
It was for an agency called Digitas,
Got it.
and I was working on that little, where you like talk. Sprint had the
Nextel.
Nextel.
The
Nextel
Ring
was
on my neck.
Radio
Yeah.
Connect.
And that was like a Sprint thing. Like the Nextel was Sprint,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And that's pretty much all they had. And so this surprises me that T-Mobile has any sort of clout to take over anything that's related to anything mobile.
Well, I mean, both have a strong interest to combine, because if T-Mobile has 50 million subscribers, hypothetically, and Sprint has 50 million, together they have 100 million. And the idea is they'll be more powerful with 100 million subscribers than 50 million. They'll be able to, when you only have three big carriers.
Yeah, who's on their heels at 4? Is it Google?
Cricket.
No, I think, honestly, I
not
think,
a
They just make the
service.
phone.
I think they
don't
own
yeah.
Cricket. I
No.
mean, Boost Mobile, I think, is owned by Sprint. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't. This is basically becoming
Well,
a
my-
monopoly.
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking. I mean, Verizon is huge, right? And
AT&T is the biggest, 150.
okay, AT&T and
They
Verizon are
are?
huge. But what you don't know now that they're going to have this merger, you don't know what's going to happen. They could come up with something. They could come up with something totally new and different,
Potentially.
and be very powerful.
But I think the idea is this. Oh, sorry, go ahead,
I'm
Tracy.
just hoping that my service improves because I have Sprint and it sucks.
I have T-Mobile and it blows. I'm trying to
Right.
get the hell
We
out
need
of
to
there.
help
Yeah,
each other
I
out.
like Verizon.
I see this as like T-Mobile picking up like Sprint, who's probably was on the outside looking in.
Yep.
And let's,
That's exactly what it
kind of
is.
like, no offense to Tracy who had Sprint.
But even T-Mobile was on the outside looking
None
in. Like
taken.
50
Yeah.
and 50, they're small. So they get together and they're going to have more power to, I don't know, like basically abuse consumers. Like with only three mobile carriers, there's less competition. and with less competition, they have more pricing power to kind of like hurt consumers.
Well,
True.
More power to bribe Congress.
Well, I'll say
that's
this:
where it is.
as far as like consumers go, Verizon, AT&T are exactly what you expect, right? As far as consumer, Sprint at the time, and they were losing market share. They had construction workers with the Nextel.
Yes.
They had the part of America like Iowa and Nebraska and like Kansas where there's nobody.
Wants to
Yep.
service.
Yeah, and so they had that.
Yes.
Which is, and they bought, I can't remember, I think they bought up U.S. Cellular or
Probably.
you know, so U.S. Cellular was like a big rural,
Yep.
vendor. And same with, T-Mobile, I don't know what the hell where they came from. You know what I mean?
I think they're owned by mostly a European, like Deutsche Telekom owns them. They came out of
is
nowhere.
that right?
Yeah.
Well, they're just affordable. Like they were,
Exactly.
yeah.
Right.
And they're the uncarrier. No contracts, no cancellation fee, unlimited data, and all that kind of stuff. So John Laguerre is the CEO of T-Mobile. He's kind of like the 60-year-old hippie / super eccentric CEO. He'll be the CEO of the new merged company. And this was announced a year ago.
He's boys with Jeffrey Epstein too, by the way.
No, is he really?
No, I don't want to get sued by him. No.
Did you make that up?
I'm making that up.
You will not get sued. Nobody listens to
Making
this
that
fucking
up.
podcast. Don't
Well, the
worry.
Victoria's Secret
He's
guy
very
is,
litigious, that man.
supposedly.
Yes,
I heard
that's what we're going
about
to talk
that
about.
today.
It's just a hung jury.
That makes sense, actually.
All right. So John Laguerre is this weird dude. He'll be the CEO. They tried to merge a year ago, and the Department of Justice did the right thing and like, no, we need more competition, not less competition. Consumers are already getting gouged. But lo and behold, a year later, somehow it went through, and it's been
for
fully
business.
approved. Right? It's
Right,
good for
yeah,
business.
yeah.
Republicans are in the House. It's good for business. But so get this. So number one, yes, get ready for your cell phone bills to go up for sure. That's
For
my
real?
opinion. Yeah, I mean, like,
Not if you're in a contract, Mary Rose.
I've been a loyal customer since I was 12.
Hold on to it.
No.
Oh.
No, I mean, you have a contract.
kind
You have
of.
a contract.
you
I
gotta
have the
understand.
same number since I was 12.
Me too. In Europe, I don't know if you guys know anybody in Europe, but like cell phones cost
a guy or
No.
two.
I do.
I've never been there.
maybe in Brussels. There's their cell phone bills $30 on average.
What?
Their internet for their house $30 on average.
They also go to school for free.
Yeah.
And I think
their
they only-
healthcare.
They
is
work
free.
like 3.5 days a week.
Yeah, they go home and have a baguette.
What the f are we doing over here?
More time.
God
Well,
damn you,
No, I've
Brian
heard.
Greenberg.
So the company that I work for, we
Is that thunder?
have expanded in other countries, and I've heard that the lifestyle in like Australia, there's so much more chill. Like it's just
Yes.
like we are very, very different than
we're,
other countries.
we're high strung.
We are
starting
way
with Dan,
high-strung.
Dan Baker.
I don't think that loyalty holds up at all. We've been with AT&T forever, and I hear my mom like pull her hair out dealing with them. And,
really?
And loyalty, like I paid you, internet, phone, cable, everything, $400 a month for X amount of years, and it's just rates are going up no matter what.
Yep.
They have
Especially
gone
when,
up.
Especially when you become basically a monopoly with three guys. The rates would be lower if there was more competition in the U.S. If you go to like France or whatever, there's like 30 cell phone companies, so the competition is healthy there.
They in a way almost maybe they know there's no loyalty when they leave you and go to the other guy, so you might be back, and it's a risk they're gonna take.
Yeah.
'Cause
Now get this. Before the merger, number 3 and number 4, T-Mobile and Sprint, were constantly the CEOs,
Can
particularly.
I just ask a question
Yeah.
really quick? Sorry. So what is it going to be called? Just T-Mobile?
I
Oh, it
was
stays
just
T-Mobile.
wondering that.
It stays
Stays
T-Mobile, and
T-Mobile?
John Laguerre is the CEO of the T-Mobile
Okay.
guy. I think because they're bigger and they got more money. I think
Got it.
Sprint is kind of like more on the ropes.
They have been, yeah.
But they're
Yeah.
gonna take the pin. Didn't they have a pin drop? Sprint, wasn't that their thing?
Yeah, they did have a pin thing, I think.
pin.
Right?
You
Yeah.
can hear a pin drop with that reference.
Well, can you hear me now?
Good.
Oh,
That's Verizon.
yeah.
Bringing it back.
So before the merger was announced a year ago, these guys were at each other's throats, Sprint and T-Mobile. They were attacking each other on social media, particularly the CEOs, this guy John Laguerre of T-Mobile and Marcello Claure of Sprint. They were just attacking each other for years on end. Which is weird, right? CEOs is going after each other.
I mean, the thing is around carriers regardless. And the thing is like, if
Would you say the thing is what?
it's around carriers and
You said around carriers?
sorry, the carriers public that they have, right? So
Yes.
if you don't have people who are picking up, your like, come on, Verizon and AT&T are gonna like. I don't even understand T-Mobile, so congrats
They're just
on the
the
people
carrier,
that
man.
are on T-Mobile.
They're just the carrier,
and
brother.
maybe if it gives me a cheaper like iPhone, I think I'd do it.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that I don't trust, even in Chicago, that
T-Mobile.
that I'm gonna have good reception.
Yeah.
I still don't.
I will
believe
say the reception
Right.
has been pretty good for the 2 years I was on until the last few months. T-Mobile blows now.
that. All right then.
But why? It's like these guys are fighting on. It's as if like Sonic and Wendy's were fighting on social media. I don't know why.
Where are the Sonics?
Good question.
I see the commercial.
TJ Jagodowski
TJ's,
can tell you.
Can we ask TJ?
Yeah, he
It's
would
like
know.
Sonic and Mario
Are
fighting.
they only out in
Yeah.
the suburbs?
No, not the
seriously.
hedgehog.
Is
One
that-
in
That's not what
Freeport,
you're
Illinois.
I would go.
Freeport, Illinois. There you go.
Okay.
Do not buy
did you
stock.
wait, you're asking about where Sonic is?
Yeah.
There's one actually on the north side in city limits.
Really?
Yeah, I went to it.
I didn't know there was one in
It's
the
the only
city.
time I've been to a Sonic. I'm a
They're
city
delicious.
boy. I've never been to
I
one
wanna
until a
try
couple
one.
weeks ago. up near Irving Park Road.
All right, there's a Sonic plug.
Sandwiches.
Okay. Road trip.
So here's the last thing I'll say. These guys, I was reading about them. These guys, so they got rejected at first when they submitted the merger to the FCC and the Department of Justice, and then it just got approved. And I'm like, why would this thing suddenly get approved? And so I went back and did a little homework. This dude Laguerre from T-Mobile, John Laguerre, has made dozens of visits over the past 12 months, to D.C., visiting the Department of Justice and the FCC, staying at Trump Tower every single time.
Aiight, right? What's his name?
Ajit Pai, yeah, that's his name.
Evil man, in my opinion.
No shit, you know about this guy?
And before you said it, I was just like, my question was going to be, does the FCC have anything to do with this?
Yes.
Because if it does, it has
Shady.
to do with Ajit, and it's just
It's
all
shady.
power to the executives. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't have
What were you saying, Dan?
I just have a question that did Bill Barr have anything to do with approving this?
Oh yeah, the guy who approved this in the Department of Justice reports to Bill Barr, and his name I can't remember. I think it's a guy named something Del Rahim.
Who Bill Barr? This is off topic, but
Well,
I'm just gonna say Bill Barr's like,
go.
you know what? Let's just get executions back from a federal
Yeah, that was-
perspective.
yeah.
Let's just go do that. And it's like, well, okay, let's execute T-Mobile and Sprint and get them out of the way so that we can have a better network. If
There you
Bill
go.
Barr would do that, then maybe we'd have a better network.
Here's the other good thing. This other dude, the Sprint CEO, Marcello Clore, right, who was on the ropes and now he's probably gonna get really rich because of the merger. He held a fundraiser in the past year during the midterm elections for Marsha Blackburn, Republican from Tennessee, who was a House representative and she wanted to become a senator. So he holds a badass fundraiser at his crib and helps her raise a whole bunch of money. She's a major FCC pro telecommunications person. She gets elected to the Senate, and boom, this whole merger also goes through. So it's like, what's up, Washington, D.C.?
I feel like this is like business as usual with like things in Washington D.C.
Right?
for like all of time, and the
Yep.
scary thing is like that business as usual. Then it bleeds into like now that you're buying things that aren't regarding cell phones, but maybe something more serious like
Yeah.
human beings and like rights and stuff like that. It's just
Are you talking about human being trafficking?
sure if there's laws to stream, but anything regarding
you're-
civil liberties.
you're right. Absolutely.
Right?
All
If it's
getting-
existing in to help get a cell phone contract, why wouldn't it exist?
Exactly. For
in
something
other
that
avenues?
small, why wouldn't we get raked over
Yeah.
the coals just as human beings? Exactly.
Well, can we
MR.
talk about? Let me ask this: Can we talk about the fact that like if you have a tower,
Cell tower?
cell tower of any kind, right? That should be like a Sprint, AT&T, whatever tower, right? Verizon tower. Like, if it's funny, who listened to Serial, right?
Oh, the
Anybody listen to
podcast.
this? Yeah, the podcast.
I heard it's
Oh,
awesome,
yeah.
but I
So-
haven't.
A little bit.
And they were like, oh well, that pinged X tower, right? And they were like trying to
Figure out right.
Syed in jail because his cell phone records hit some tower or whatever.
Right.
Whatever. Long story short, don't they share the same towers, or do they really have to put up their own towers in this day and age?
I do think they have to put up their own towers.
That's-
Actually, it's a huge infrastructure
That would be my
investment.
guess.
Yeah. What'd you say, Mark?
For each company?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're sharing. That's why you have shitty service with some guys and better service with others. Which building and which area can you get, and what are you willing to invest to put it on someone's real estate?
I'm not for it.
But let's move on.
Okay.
Because we're running a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
L Brands, right? So CEO is a dude named Leslie Wexner,
Leslie.
81 years old. Yeah. And
81.
by the way, regarding T-Mobile Sprint, I'm even though to go back a step. So here's the stock recommendation. Even though these guys are all going to rake us over the coals and make a whole bunch of money, I can't consciously invest in those companies. I just think that shit will hit you on the way, it'll come back and bite you in the ass. So they're jerks. Don't buy their stock. That's what I'm saying.
Agreed.
All right, L Brands. So this CEO, Leslie Wexner, this dude, his parents literally ran a lingerie shop in Ohio in the 60s. And he built it up to the freaking monster that it is. I think it was upwards of like a $50 billion company at one point, one of the biggest in the S&P 500 some years ago. Now it's all the tech companies that are huge. But this dude, so L Brands is the Limited Express, Abercrombie, Bath & Body Works, Pink, and the crown jewel, Victoria's Secret. What?
No.
You're not a
It's-
Victoria's Secret fan?
Not really.
Okay.
Well, it's real. It's real. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Their clothes.
Well, it was.
it is less popular now. They're on the down. They're on the
Their
downdraft
bras
right
are
now.
really uncomfortable.
Oh,
They don't
really?
Fit right.
Yeah, I haven't had good success with them either.
Those apparel mega giants, like they own so many brands. Like, so if one's down, the next one's
Exactly.
up. It's insane to me, actually. Like the person who just passed Bill Gates, the name escapes me. Passed Bill Gates for second richest in the world, I believe. It's and there's a couple of these guys. They're like European, like owners of like Louis Vuitton and this collection of things. And the guy who donated all the money to Notre Dame was the guy.
Yep, he's the CEO of LMVH, Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, and this sounds just kind of like an American version of
Yep.
of that. I mean, God, what are the margins on apparel?
Oh man,
Because you
huge,
mentioned tech
huge.
is the big money, but I
Huge.
get that.
So this dude, so get this. So first of all, stay the hell away from L Brands. By the way,
Okay.
Cam just walked
Hi,
in.
Cam.
Cam is one of
Cam's
our.
in the door.
Cam's in the house. Clark Snarks. What's up,
Cam
Cam? So we
Siren.
now have a
OG
mini
member.
audience.
She's one of the originals. Yes.
OG. All right, so this dude
Do you want to share?
in the 80s. Yeah, if you want to jump in, Cam.
Jump in.
This dude is embroiled in the Epstein situation with Jeff Epstein. I think,
Big surprise.
right? I think, so we all know Epstein, right? Jeff Epstein is this pedophile, sex trafficker.
I actually don't know.
Super dangerous dude. Yeah, super dangerous dude.
Tight with Trump.
Tight with Trump, tight with Leslie Wexner. Those are his two boys. Tight with Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton.
Just powerful people hang out together.
Yep. This is like the ultra. This is not the 1%. This is like the 0.01%. All right. There's a lot of smoke in Columbus, Ohio right now. And you know where there's smoke.
There's gasoline.
There's cheating Ohio State people.
Oh, man.
Let's just
Urban-
Ohio State is cheating. Urban Meyer and everyone else is cheating.
This story is about to explode to become like a headline story, in my opinion.
Yep.
So,
From this podcast, Ohio State is cheating.
You heard it here
in
first.
basketball, in cricket, in everything. Whatever.
This story made me question, what is Victoria's Secret?
I want to hear it.
Oh, man, this is crazy. So get this. All right, so these two dudes were super tight. So this Leslie Wexner guy was actually a really good dude for years, 60s, 70s, 80s. Then Jeff Epstein rolls up on the scene in Columbus, Ohio. Jeff Epstein was a college dropout, I think a math teacher at one point for high school, and then he worked at Bear Stearns, where anyone can work at Bear Stearns back in those days. It was kind of a sketchy place.
I was there.
I worked there. Yeah.
All right, so I love how everyone just jumped right at. I just set you guys up perfectly. Now.
Well, I'm old.
All right, so then Jeff rolls up, and him and Leslie become super tight, right? The CEO of a decent-sized company who's rich, becomes super tight with Jeff Epstein, random dude, all in Columbus, Ohio. Jeff's a nobody. And Leslie starts to like drop all his other colleagues and friends suddenly when he becomes friends with Epstein. Just behavior suddenly changes in the late 80s.
Okay.
And Epstein becomes super rich over the next couple decades as Leslie's quote-unquote personal money manager. Or another title on his taxes was Jeff Epstein, manager of fortune for Leslie Wexner. All right? But this guy was not like a regular personal money manager buying stocks and bonds and shit like that. They were buying weird shit like yachts and real estate properties and luxury estates and all that kind of stuff. So it was super interesting. And then at some point in like 91, a full power of attorney, like full scale, across the board power of attorney is signed between Leslie and Jeff, giving Jeff full power to do whatever he wants with Leslie's name. He can borrow money, debt. He can buy and sell properties.
What did Leslie's children have to say about that?
Well, Leslie at this time was unmarried for a long time. He didn't get married until he was 55. So these are a couple of single dudes, which is what makes the story even more interesting to me. He could hire people, Epstein. He could sign checks with Leslie's name. All okay. Full-blown control of Leslie's, financial life. And so during the relationship, Epstein acquires over the next 20 years, they do a bunch of weird shit, right? And over that time, Epstein somehow acquires Leslie's New York mansion, Leslie's private jet, a Boeing 727, and Leslie's Ohio luxury estate, all worth over $100 million.
Nothing in Ohio is luxury.
You just offended 10 million people.
No love
And
for
my wife.
Ohio.
I don't even know if there's 10 million people there.
Well, it's
Don't let her listen to this. We'll edit that out. So yeah, he gets all these things, and it's like the New York Times recently found a woman who, her name is Alicia Arden. She was sexually assaulted by Jeff Epstein. All right, not that big of a surprise,
no.
but he posed as a Victoria's Secret talent scout.
Yep.
All right? Jeff the pedophile who's got all... And I'm starting to think, like, wait a minute. Was this whole Victoria's Secret thing... Do you guys know where I'm going with this? With Leslie and Jeff?
Not yet. But go on.
I think Epstein was his handler, right? And he'd, like, whether it's Clinton or Prince Andrew or Trump, he would deliver the women using this Victoria's Secret front, saying, I'm a talent scout for Victoria's Secret. That's what I'm putting it out there.
And didn't Trump have his own modeling agency for a while?
Well, he was the
USA
pageantry
or something.
Yeah, Miss America pageantry. So he had his own little vehicle.
Yeah, and they partied together too, and, and all that.
Why are you shouldering me?
I'm sorry.
He's trying to get close.
I just want to be as close as Leslie and Jeffrey, And that's what I wanted to say, though, is, I mean, you're talking about an intimate relationship that these two people had, not in the sexual sense, of course. Well, who knows, but no.
Right.
Don't sue me. No, I mean, if he's handling all those affairs, like, and then, of course, at some point, I had no idea that this man was doing these things
exactly
behind.
What he said.
Yeah, exactly. And then, and the thing with being a handler for all those powerful things is because that person, Epstein, has all the power, can become as rich as he wants because he's got dirt on everybody that...
Exactly. Right? That's what it is, right? So he's got dirt on Trump, dirt on Prince Andrew, dirt on Bill Clinton, and he's like, I got you guys by the balls. Give me money. Give me your plane. Give me your... Right?
And maybe it never even has to come to that. Maybe it can stay on the level as just this creepy, powerful friends doing what they want to do. But he and then everybody else kind of knows, okay, well, we need to keep this on our level because if things go south, anybody can tank
Look,
this.
I've got all
been
the
a part
best
of
women.
these things before. That's why I know, okay?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I've got all the best women. I don't need Jeffrey Epstein. I don't need anybody... okay, maybe Jeffrey Epstein.
He's a
It'd be
loser.
great. But you know what? I have all the best parties. I love Columbus, Ohio.
Jeff Epstein.
beautiful.
Jeff Epstein is a good guy. Okay.
He's a good guy.
He's a good
Top
guy.
tier. I love him, except
Big
I
league.
don't know him.
Big
He's
league.
not anybody I've ever
I
associated
threw him
with.
out of my party.
The things I'm hearing aren't good guy things, but at the time when I said he was a good guy, I can't do a Trump.
You know,
going
there's
to
good
Chicago.
people on both sides.
Yeah, it's good people on both sides.
Good people on
Good
both
people on
sides.
both sides.
There was good talent scouts at Victoria's Secret, and there was good women coming in the door. They're all
Columbus,
good people.
Ohio, mega. I said mega.
Need to get you off college sports here.
So I think what's gonna happen is all this shit's gonna blow up. I think Brutus rolling in his grave. I think that L Brands, right? This guy's been the CEO for, he's like 81. He's been CEO for like 50 years. They're a huge company, right? All these brands. I think L Brands is a company. I think this is like gonna blow up. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Victoria's Secret is gonna be like, oh my God, there was this thing going on for the last 30 years of Victoria's Secret where they made it okay to go buy lingerie in all these open areas and no one feels weird about it. But the whole time, all these Victoria's Secret catalog women were probably being abused in some way. They're all gonna come forward, and L Brands is gonna go.
Can we call out him and say
Leslie?
on this podcast?
He's listening.
Okay.
We have a
Leslie,
big
Leslie, you in
listenership
trouble.
in Columbus.
is your six pack in such a place where you could be outside of a mall in Columbus where you are spritzing people with your six pack outside of an Abercrombie? Abercrombie?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah. So, right? They take their shirt off.
He's 81, so I just have this visual in my head.
Kind of a bag of bones.
Or if he's nice, I'd go in that store. I mean, would you,
He
would
puts-
you go into that
Spritz ya.
store?
He's probably so plump he doesn't have any more bones.
Oh, that's plumpy.
So yeah, L Brands is gonna suffer. Sell L Brands. That's my stock recommendation there. Let's keep going. So we
So
can
invest.
don't invest.
Don't
Oh,
invest.
sorry. Don't.
Stay the hell
I'm
away.
just like not. I had no idea that Abercrombie and Victoria's Secret were
I
affiliated.
didn't know
you know
that
what?
either,
Awful.
actually.
I think,
But I'm not surprised.
To be clear, to be truthful, I do know Abercrombie is a public company, so I think they were spun off out of L Brands at some point in the last decade or so. And so they no longer are owned by L Brands, but he's the one who I believe acquired it initially and made it what it is.
They had
I
racy
see.
catalogs with images of wafy children, too.
yeah, you're
Totally.
right. This dude is dirty.
I was like
think.
14. I'm like, this is how I have to be.
And
Yeah.
don't get me started on that Aero Pastel.
Is that even around anymore?
I don't
I
know.
think.
Yeah, I think it's around.
To be fair, we're all wafy.
You are now.
Thank you.
We've got about 15, 20 minutes. Brian, you had a question. However,
Oh.
I'm worried we're going to run out of time. So let's ask it, and I'll answer it quickly. And
Okay.
anyone else can answer it, too, whoever might know something about it.
I'll probably know.
Yeah, MR knows.
Yes, I've never invested my own money.
Wait a minute, whose money have you invested?
Well, I mean, like-
Are you
like-
like Jeff Epstein?
I had stocks as a child growing up, right? Like that my grandpa bought
Oh,
for
okay,
me and
good.
things like that. That's
Whoa, do
another
you still have
story
them,
I'd
by the
love
way?
to. No, I have a whole topic on that written down here about that. I wish I did. Anywho's, so Robinhood is like an app that I've heard
Yes.
about a couple years ago even, and my
Yes.
friends who do invest, even if it's just to learn and to have some fun.
Yes.
We're big on it. The little bit I looked up at the time but never got into it was all super positive, like too good to be true. And
Yes.
without really diving into the current news on this thing, Robinhood, it seems like maybe there has been a little glean off the rose. Maybe it is too good to be true. Maybe I'm mistaken.
No, it's pretty much too good. It's true. Robinhood is a...
It's true that it's
What
too
is
good to be
Robinhood?
true.
No.
Oh,
Robinhood is a... So there are apps for investing have become a huge thing.
Acorns.
Acorns is one of them.
Oh, that one I've heard of.
Robinhood is another one. Betterment is another one. Those are the three I think about a lot. There's
Is
another
it-
one called Stash.
Acorn's the one that rounds up
Yep.
deposits. At,
The roundup. Yep.
I like that.
Exactly. Acorns is for newbies. People who are like, man, I never save, I never invest. It's like, boom, attach your debit card and credit card to this account. You're going to start having some money in stocks. That's awesome. I can't tell y'all. I mean, whoever has a 401k or has some savings or has some investment, you might be able to relate to this. But in general, you become psychologically stronger when you have some financial stability and you know you got some money stashed
Or
away.
you have a wife and a kid, and I hide it there and spend it on guitars that I don't play.
I have one I don't play either, too.
So
They're pretty.
They are
They
pretty.
do look good in the corner.
Wait, Dan, you really do have a guitar?
I have 8
You're joking.
Whoa.
that I 3 are purchased through.
Do you have
Acorns.
any idea
Wow.
how many? Do you have any idea how many $100 bills you can fit into the body of a guitar? That's where he really keeps all his money.
I will say
That's
that.
very Scooby-Doo.
Let me say this: through Acorns, it helped pay for our honeymoon.
Nice.
Yeah. So because it
How
comes
long
off
did
Did
your
you go to
using
Ohio
Acorns?
for your honeymoon?
since before I got married. What year
several
is this?
years.
I need to learn this shit.
2016.
That's great. Good
Well,
for
as
you,
soon as
dude.
it started,
That's
and,
great.
and
You were on it.
because it comes off your debit card,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
so it rounds up and
Yep.
gives you, gives you the.
Can you guys teach me this?
We're about to.
It gives you the, and invest your roundups and all that.
Yep.
And I also invest $50 per, and then all of a sudden I've got all this money, and then my wife's like, "Where'd you get that guitar?" I was like, "Oh, well, I blew it." But for a honeymoon, it was.
She was all she was all for
Yeah.
it. That's great. So Acorns is newbies, or just like
Okay.
having trouble with discipline. Betterment is a robo advisor. What does that mean?
Betterment?
is like where you actually have them advising you, like they're giving you professional financial advice.
But through a robot?
But it's kind of like automated or formulaic.
Like Johnny Five.
Exactly. They have
Short
Johnny Five
circuit,
running.
too?
Yeah, short circuit. They have Johnny Five running your portfolio. But no, you got to pay a little more of a fee there. You got to pay 0.25% on your money. So they do charge you, but they are doing a pretty good job investing it. They're a little smarter. They might make you a little bit extra.
Robinhood.
Robinhood is where you can buy individual stocks or funds on your own. You don't just give them $5,000 or $500 like you do Betterment and they just invest it for you. Robinhood is you're like, I like Apple, I'm gonna buy some. I like Google, I'm gonna buy some. I like
Yamaha.
Yamaha, I'm gonna buy some.
It's a good
I
one.
don't like.
On
I
the
don't
Give
like.
us the
and the
ticker for
OCT.
Yamaha, please.
Why?
Can I get some Yamaha stock, please?
This is all a callback from episode 50, last one.
Watch
49. We're on
49?
50.
Yeah. No, we're on 51. That was 49 I sent you.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I thought you said we're on 50.
No, we're on 51.
Oh.
If I did say that, I goofed up. So Robinhood is where you want to buy individual stock, or you can short stocks too. Like if you want to short L Brands, if that means anything to you. L Brands is this company I think is going to blow up because of Leslie Wexner and Jeff Epstein. So you can short them. You can actually
What does
sell.
that mean?
You can actually
Bet
sell
against.
Yes, you can bet against L Brands.
Oh.
Even if you don't own L Brands, you can bet against them using something called a short sale.
Oh, like you do with a house.
How do you do it with a house?
The bank buys it back from you because you can't afford it anymore. That's called the short sale, right?
Oh, that is a short sale, but I think it's for a
houses.
different reason though.
So in the sense, like,
So I wouldn't. I don't know if it's the same thing.
Okay, I don't know.
I like this concept of shorting stocks
Yeah, be
because
careful though.
I know. Well, I like it as a cynic, and
Yes.
the concept of, and I know you've talked about this on your pod, investing in something that you are a fan of, right? And the enjoyment you
Exactly.
get out of that. So
Yes.
let's flip that. Sometimes I'm more of a
There you
fan
go.
rooting against something.
Yes.
I like this.
There you go.
Well,
Funnel
can
that
short
hate
over it.
somewhere and
I
make
believe-
money.
Ooh, I'm
I
gonna
believe
I'm
in
gonna
that.
take notes.
The one thing I think about is, in my career, and thankfully, I've been able to work on things that
Again,
I believe
you're
in.
advertising.
So I believe in things that, thankfully, it's things that I can believe in. And if I'm going to invest, which my Acorns account, I have no idea, but I would invest, which I haven't, on things I believe, right?
Yes, that's good. So what I'd say is this regarding Robinhood. I'd actually recommend of the three, Acorns if you have trouble with discipline and you just want to do it without thinking
It's
about
like a
it.
401k.
That would be me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I
Acorns is
like
a
Acorn.
great start.
Yeah.
If you want to learn a little more and you want to be interested, you can go into Robinhood and buy ETFs, exchange traded funds. My favorite one is SPY. And you just set up your account to basically invest in this ticker SPY every month. Once you get
What
your
is
paycheck,
SPY?
it stands for it's basically the S&P 500. It's this
Okay.
collection of 500 of the biggest American companies.
Okay.
And you can just each month $200, it'll just buy the SPY each month as you make money. And over time, that thing has gone up 10% for the last 130 years. You will double your money every 7 years. So if over 7 years you put in 10 grand, you can within 7 years, plus or minus, on average.
It's a pretty good bet then.
It's not bad, right? The American government is set up in a way to make sure the stock market will always go up.
Not to mention, of the three, for somebody like me who spends a lot of time doing fantasy baseball, fantasy
Boom.
football,
You would love this. You'd be all over this.
I bet that's not an uncommon connection.
There you go. So for you, you'd be Robin Hood, I think. For MR, you'd probably be Acorns.
I think I'm an acorn.
Yeah.
For you, you're guitars.
Yeah, guitars just
Well,
straight
no,
to the
I-
source.
They have
Les
their
Paul.
own app.
The
though.
one thing about Acorns that I love is that you don't necessarily have to gauge. It's like how aggressive you are. I'm not aggressive. I'm medium aggressive.
Right.
I'm really aggressive.
Right.
And I'm really aggressive with that money because, to be honest, it's change off your debit card.
Yep.
And it doesn't really matter. And it
You
turns
see it as
out-
small, right?
It turns out, even if it's aggressive, you get like $100, $200 off. Well, when you buy guitars, if you're gonna sit on it, it could be more aggressive, or it could be like more,
Yes.
But I spend it a lot.
Good for you, dude. That's what the point of it. That's the point of it. All right. So, do you have I want to get to one other point. Do you have another question?
I do. It's more. It's not imperative. It's more fun than anything.
Damn, I want to talk
You want?
about
I'll throw it at you.
You know what? Save it for an upcoming week.
I will. I will. You'll have me back.
That's for sure. All right. Dan, anyone? So now this question's for anyone. Dan, in particular, I think, given your corporate background, you might have some good answers. But this is for anyone in particular. So one thing I like to do is give listeners a way to make some cheddar. Maybe ways you all have come up with that you might know over your decades of working or living, and you're like, yo, this is a way to make money that most people don't realize. So anyone, so Dan, I talked to you earlier a little bit about this.
Yeah.
You're in the world of advertising. You're helping companies take a product to the market in a way and directly impacting consumers to the point where they say, I'm going to go and buy that. Was that accurate?
Arguably, yeah.
Okay. So you're helping those companies sell products, make money.
Sure. Yep.
Tell us maybe, if you can think of one story, maybe a product we heard of, maybe we haven't heard of it, but it was a badass situation that you were central to where you helped the company make a lot of money on a product. Maybe it went viral, maybe, something like that. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, of course. There's way back in the day, State Farm, for example, they have a big problem of being stale for old people.
Stale for old people.
Yeah, stale for old people. Like young people were on their parents' insurance.
Right.
Right. Back in the day, we did a campaign called NowWhat.com. And it was a unbranded campaign that had the State Farm logo or box around it, right? And you would see a commercial that would be like, they're rock climbing, somebody pulls a rock off and it lands on their Jeep and it totally crushed their Jeep.
Damn.
And then you would just see Now What.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it would
I
go
might
to
remember
nowwhat.com. And then for young adults, it was like, oh, what is nowwhat.com? I associate with that. And then State Farm has all kinds of cash. And at the
Yeah,
time,
they got a lot of money.
Yeah, and we had all kinds of budget. So they would basically give us free reign to
Damn.
say what nowwhat.com was. And the website was, it was amazing what we were able to build. And it won an Effie Award, which Effie Award is around effectiveness.
I'm hearing
Yep.
FU award.
No, Effie.
Effie.
Effie. Not FU, but FE. And it was
Which, by the way,
around
would be an
effectiveness.
amazing award, right? It's like an
And it
FU
was
award.
around getting folks who were more junior and off their parents' plan had signed up for State Farm.
Nice.
And,
Now, but tell us the mechanism of action. Like how are you basically saying that you guys put in a bunch of creative ideas, put them into concrete action by building a website and promoting it through maybe television commercials and the Jeep and the Rock, and then that impacts or influences consumers when they want to make a decision? Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah, the consumer insight that you have to tap into is one thing about State Farm. Please, I hope you're not listening because I love you guys. Is they're stale. they're super stale. They're like,
I think everyone has them as a stodgy, boring.
Yeah. They want to talk to an agent.
74-year-old.
They want you to talk to their agents. It's all agent based, right? But at the same time, when you're a young person,
Digital.
you want to be different from your parents, and they
Right.
did an amazing job. The thing with the campaign was, I'm not my parents, and I want to be separate from that. And it was like, okay, State Farm has something for me, and it sparked their interest to say, well, what the hell is this? And they were like, okay, they are for me. Like anybody else. Like Geico was spending something. Like, you know how much they spend on insurance advertising? It is like Geico, Allstate, and State Farm spends plus of $300 million a year.
Each individually?
Wow.
Each individually.
Geico spends an insane amount compared to like where they stand in like the rankings. Like
Wow.
they're not in that top three.
But
but their
Farm's
spending
third.
is. Yeah, I worked for Country Financial, which split from State Farm, smaller than State Farm, but bigger than Geico. Yet you
Right.
wouldn't know it.
Wow.
And
So what you're saying is, in that world, you got to spend money to make money.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people look at marketing sometimes and they're like, that shit don't work on me. But you'd argue the opposite. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely it does.
It
Yeah,
works.
absolutely it does.
That's what my company depends on is marketing and advertising.
In what way?
We don't set any appointments or ourselves. We
Okay,
don't
wait.
reach out.
What's your company do?
I work for Smile Direct Club,
Okay.
and it's an we help people get straighter teeth with invisible aligners.
Okay.
And it's a different business model in which one could get, straight, cosmetic dental work done, right? So it's not like going to a traditional dental office. It's not like going to a regular dentist office or orthodontist office. So
What does a customer do? They just go to Smile Direct Club directly?
yeah, so
Okay,
they
cool.
look up online the closest one to them to get an appointment so they can get a consultation with a dental assistant and get a scan done. But and then I get this commonly asked question like, oh, how do you, these people are used to like trying to dentists are used to looking for people or like, or reaching out to people to learn about them. But really everyone finds out about us through marketing and advertising. That's all,
Wow.
all of our appointments are based on.
Who do you talk to? What's your day-to-day job? Is talking to individuals who call in?
No, I recruit.
You recruit? Oh,
Yeah,
for
I just
internally
do
for the
it-
company.
Yeah.
Got it.
I try to
Got
find dental assistants and managers.
Okay, cool.
And interview them.
So Dan, do you come across people who say like, oh, marketing doesn't work on me and marketing doesn't work, but you're like, no, it works?
No. I mean, yeah, yes and no. It all comes down to metrics. It all comes down to how we measure it.
It is hard to measure, right?
Yeah, it's hard to measure, but, depending. I work on a client now that is called Wiley Education Services, and they provide online education for master's degrees for like Georgetown and American University, and
They partner with those guys?
they provide marketing services for that, which we provide the marketing services for them from a creative perspective.
Okay.
And from that point of view, it's like extremely effective because you can track it from that
Digitally.
point of view. Yes. My agency also currently does or did do stuff or does do stuff for like Skittles.
Okay.
For example, the Marshawn Lynch stuff that was very popular.
Marshawn Lynch?
Marshawn Lynch.
I missed that. What was that?
Well, Marshawn Lynch.
He did a Skittles thing?
Yeah. So one time, this is the early on days where Marshawn Lynch was in front of the media, and they were asking him questions.
His
and,
background is like something about like having a lot of kids, right?
well, I don't know about that.
He's a football player with, I
He
think,
was with the Bills, wasn't he?
yeah.
No, Seattle.
Before that,
Before
he was
that.
with
Oh,
Buffalo
yeah,
Bills.
yeah. Well, back in
Nice.
the Seattle days. This is what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I'm a
So-
Buffalo girl.
He loves Skittles, and he said it.
And kids.
So it was a tough day, and Marshawn Lynch is just eating Skittles, and he's not answering media questions.
Oh.
Oh.
And then Skittles, from this whole scenario, became the #1 candy in America. And Marshawn Lynch became, and he's not a big talker.
By the way, that Skittles did not pay for that, did they?
No. That's what's crazy.
No, not
like
your
he was
idea.
like, yeah, I'll do this, and he just like sat there and like.
So wait. It
so
was
it was planned.
It was planned.
He was stonewalling the media.
It was-
just like a lot of pro athletes do. He didn't want to talk to him. He's protested the
Yeah, he's
media.
basically saying
in,
F you
in
to the media.
multiple forms,
Yes.
but this initial one was
Yes.
Give him an FU award for
Yeah,
that.
it could have been M&Ms, and M&Ms would have been the number one.
Right.
Yes, and I am not sure, but our agency was like, hey, just eat these Skittles.
Oh, this was your agent was behind
Yes, yes.
this?
And
Was this
so,
your idea, Dan?
Yeah, it was an idea. And
Was
he
this
was
your
like,
idea?
No, I wasn't there then. But he just like ate Skittles while they were like asking him questions. He wouldn't answer questions.
Do you think your agency told him, hey, eat the Skittles and stonewall them so that you can be like kind of part of the quote unquote resistance, and then that will catch fire?
Yeah, they already knew he was going to stonewall him because he wasn't going to talk to media.
He always does that?
But he has to go for media, after a game. And they were like, just eat these Skittles. And he was like,
This is gangster.
Well, how about this? Then around the same time when Seattle Seahawks were like had some big names and were like a huge profitable team, Richard Sherman, I think, had the Dr. Dre Beats headphones.
Yep.
And that whole thing was also he wears the headphones to shut out the media, to ignore him, send a message to him that and I mean that wasn't a raw moment turned into a thing. That was just a straight up commercial, but.
Now, Dan, you brought this up because I was asking you about like, hey, people say advertising, does it really work, or marketing, does it really work? That's a point where it's like so clear that it worked, right?
well, no, I mean, marketing and advertising works hands down. Yeah,
it's about metrics.
It's completely around measurability for most people. Most brands I worked on, Corona and like brands like Pacifico and like whatever, they do measurability around how effective the TV commercials were, right? And we did measurability around social, and it turned out that the return on investment was actually better.
Where?
As far as like nationwide on Corona from social.
Yes.
From
what I
a
would
campaign
expect.
we did, because we weren't working on the TV at the time. Better than TV. We were like 50 cents better than television.
50 cents better?
50 cents better.
Meaning, like, what does that mean?
Well, we did a summer campaign, intensified summer campaign, totally on Corona in the summer, a summer campaign. And as it turned out, when you look at the year-end investment, we were better than television. The return on investment was $3 close to for social.
Yep.
Than it was $2.50 return on investment for television.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not that surprised because I would think social media, it just how it's taken over. People are spending way more time on their phones than in front of a TV.
Yeah.
So I would think that it's more effective.
How can they track, like, if I saw the commercial on TV or if I saw the advertisement on Facebook and I'm in a liquor store and I'm buying it because I saw it, how do they track, like, which one?
Yeah, there's definitely a way to track that.
Really? Dan, do you know?
There's got to be.
Well, if I've watched both, though. I'm just saying, like to know that the ROI is 50 cents better. I mean, it's just, at the end of the day, isn't it just total marketing
Yeah.
towards...
You could always just ask
They
them,
have-
"How did you hear about us?"
Well, there's that. But, I mean, like, most of it comes from multiple sources. Like, for example, on TV, it's Nielsen. And then from, like, social media, it's mostly Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. And then what they do is, like, this marketing mix analysis at the end of the year. And they look at it, and they're like, but they have a lot of inputs. And then they look at it, and they're like, oh, shit, that worked, shit. So is it
a matter of timing then? So like their sales went up right after the social media campaign though?
Well, they still want to do TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
The costs on social media got to be way cheaper too, I imagine.
Yeah.
Well,
because I even say that even from, and this wouldn't affect the bottom line or the decision making for a huge company like whoever owns Corona, but I have a friend who like got an awesome commercial gig for a beer company.
Yep.
and it's over 15 million views on social media. You know, but that. He didn't get $100,000 commercial contract for that commercial. It could be on TV, but it's not, and it wasn't made for TV. So I think he probably made whatever for that day of shooting.
Yeah.
And
maybe it's cheaper. You're saying?
Oh yeah, I mean it's even cheaper. Yeah, it's insanely cheaper even from paying the actors and directors and the lighting guy.
Yeah, I hear you, but I think it's also I mean, Facebook, Google, these guys are making billions of dollars, way more money than the average media company these days. So I do think it's a big investment from that perspective.
Facebook's making $40 billion a month
in revenue.
In revenue, and I know that because they were fined $40 billion for the some privacy thing.
$5 billion.
I'm sorry, $5 billion. And that's what they profit.
Yes.
They were fined $5 because they
crazy
net profit. But
so let's get back to Amer.
By the way, let's make this some of our last comments. Let's wrap up here. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, one of your comment or your question is, how do you make money? Right.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
I got an answer.
Oh,
do tell.
Go on.
If the advertising guy doesn't know, Brian Reed's got to know.
I do know. As we all know, the best way to make money is to better save money.
Spend money.
Spend money.
No, to make money is to better save money. That's what my mom taught me. And there's 3 simple things we can all do, and that's you can buy your cigarettes and gas in Indiana.
Go Indiana.
Purchase only generic brand cereal because that's a huge savings, and just don't tip.
Ooh.
No tip and Pippin. That's thank you, Scottie Pippen, for your no tipping.
Right. On that note, thank you, Brian Reed, for doing your homework and bringing those tips.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the personal stories, Dan, Tracy, Cam, MR. Thank you very much. That was episode 51. We out.
Bye. Thanks.